Hey runners, how are you? Pete Weldy here. It's been a while since I've done a video. Um, I'm still running. If you're new to the channel, I'm a runner, certified running coach. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona, and yeah, I love running, watching running, everything running, really. Running nerd, I guess you could say. But it's been, gosh, it's been too long since I put out a video. Basically, just kind of ranting on running. You know what I do, what I'm training for, and curious to know what you guys are doing for running. So, anyways, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button down below. And well, let's get started. Just catching up, like I said. Today is Thursday, August 4th, and we had a nice monsoon rain. For those of you who are not familiar with monsoons, it's basically our summer storms with rain, which we don't really get a ton of here in Phoenix, Arizona. But this morning, about 4 o'clock, I woke up to some thunder and brief moments of moderate rain, and it stayed on and off for about 3 hours, 4 hours really. It was kind of nice for a change of pace because the summers are really hot here, and we do get some humidity. I mean, it's been feeling humid for almost 2 months, but nothing like the Midwest or East. So it's a welcome sight. It's partly cloudy today. I'm actually working, taking a break from work. I work from home. Um, so I thought, what better way to spend my time and just kind of bring you guys up to speed. So, uh, yeah, I'm a runner as mentioned, and I've been running about 5 days a week to 6 days a week, sometimes seven. Not a lot of miles right now. I'm averaging about 25 miles a week. So some days I'll run three, four, two. Usually on Saturdays it's like 7 to 9 miles. And I'll talk about some of the things that I'll be doing in terms of races coming up here in the next couple of months. But we had a pretty good spring and early summer of races. Not a ton, but back in it was April. We had a mile race here in Phoenix. Just a local running group put it together, and wanted to see what I could do. I ran a 7:07, which for me that's not bad. And then that was in April, I believe, the 5th. And then at the end of May, my wife and I went out to California, Carlsbad, California, which is basically right next door to San Diego. And we did the Carlsbad 5000, which I don't know if any of you have done that race before, but fantastic race. If you haven't done it, I would strongly urge you to do it, on your bucket list. Yeah, it's a 5K, like a 6 hour drive from here, but it was a nice little weekend getaway, and it's fantastic. The way they do it is they have you race by basically your category, I guess. Like, I'm a Masters runner, ages 40 and older. They had the Masters men race first, then the Masters women after the race, and then they went to like those who are under 40, and then they had the professionals running in the early afternoon. So it was cool. We got to see everybody race, got to run alongside basically the ocean. Beautiful views. That race I ran 23:08, I believe it was 23:08, 23:07. I surprised myself. My training said I was in shape to do 23:42, which for me was still faster than I thought I could run, because I haven't run that quick or those times, as it turns out, about 8 years ago. I've been running like 25 minutes, maybe low 25s, high 24s. So it was a great race. I felt great, and I ran that like consistent, like 7:30 splits basically, for the 3 miles. Awesome race. That was May, end of May, and then about a week and a half later, 2 weeks, we did a race in Tucson, which is south of here, about an hour and a half drive, and did a 5K. Now, June 4th, I believe it was. It's hot. They had a mile race at 6 p.m. and then a 5K race at 7. My wife ran the mile race at 6, and it was hot. I think it was like 95 to 97 degrees. She did well considering. She went out hard the first mile, or first quarter mile of the mile, but she ran a good race, came in second. And then, less than an hour later, she's turning around to do the 5K, and of course she beats me still by a couple minutes. I ran that race in, I believe it was under 24. It was like 23:40 some, which was for me a good race, a really good race, considering that it had cooled off to like low 90s, maybe 92, 93. It was just ungodly hot, and the roads were a little bit a little sketch out there, downtown area, but it was fun. It was good to just push ourselves. That was first part of June. Then we had basically a month to prepare for a mile race in northern Arizona, up in Flagstaff. I don't know if anybody is familiar or been to Flagstaff before. Flagstaff is about 7,000 feet, and it's about 2.5 miles north of here. A lot of the pros, elite runners, train out there. So they did have a professional race out there, but the race started off with the Masters men going first, and then the female or women's Masters a minute after, which meant that my wife had a good shot to catch me before I finished. And spoiler alert, she did. She did with, I want to say, about 300 meters or so. So I was surprised she caught me that late. But nonetheless, that was a tough race. The way it was situated is it was run on the course in downtown Flagstaff, and it was 2 loops. Basically, it's like a square. You just make left turns. So you have to do 2 loops of those. And 7,000 feet, I first of all don't do well in elevation, period. Where we live, it's anywhere from 1,100 to 1,200 feet. So, you're talking another, 55 or 6,000 feet almost increase. So I knew that I probably wasn't going to hit my 7:07 that I ran here in April in lower elevation. And the conversion for elevation was saying I would run 6 to 16 seconds slower. Okay. So did the race and felt pretty decent for the first maybe quarter mile. And after that first loop, I was starting to die. And there's a couple short little climbs, not a big hill, but it's not flat. After that second loop, man, I was gassed, and I tried to pick it up a little bit on the downhill, what little downhill there was. I ended up running that race in 7:17, which was 10 seconds slower than the mile time trial in April, which is right on par with what the conversion for elevation said. So I was excited. My wife finished second in that race, and had a really good race. But elevation definitely affects us. So that was it. That was July 4th, and here we are, August 4th, about a month after. No races in August. I've been just getting out the door early in the morning before work and just running a few miles. We do have a 10K though coming up in September down in Tucson, and it's a race that we did last year. can't remember what I ran. I want to say I ran maybe 52 minutes or so. It was a pretty good race for me. Um, it's a good hilly course. Um, Most of the races in Tucson are hilly, so we knew kind of what to expect. But beautiful scenery out there on the west side of Tucson. So that's coming up September. I want to say it's 18th. Been doing a little training for that. Working on some 10K training, not too much. But then after that, then is when I will, I should say not after that race, but later this month, on the 29th of August, so 1, 2, 3, almost 4 weeks, I'll start my 12-week training for the Philadelphia Half Marathon, which is in the middle part of November. We've got about a month or so of training for that until the weather starts to cool down a little bit more to our liking. We're still in the mid upper 80s, sometimes low 80s, depends if we've got a storm rolling in. But it's just muggy. The dew points anywhere from 50 to 60, sometimes 70%, and it's humid. So, humidity training, right? We're getting through it. So that's kind of what's going on. I feel pretty good. My right heel that I've had some issues with last October after my half marathon has, kind of stuck around. It's more of a nuisance than it is like a serious injury, a niggle, if you will. Most days it's like a 2. Sometimes it'll flare up to like a 5, if I've been running on it and kind of, angry and whatnot. But other than that, I feel pretty good. My wife's a little bit injured with her sciatic, so she hasn't run in almost 2 weeks. So we're hoping that she can get back on her feet and running again, because it's what we love to do. And so that's kind of what's going on. Like I mentioned, I'm a runner. I do a little bit of coaching on the side. I've got a full-time job. We're just trying to stay cool out here in Phoenix. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope to stay in touch and, give you some updates on how everything's going with the running. And, drop down in the comments how you guys are doing. What are you training for? Do you have any upcoming races this weekend or, later in the summer, heading into the fall, winter? Curious to see what you guys are doing. And be safe out there. And thanks again for watching and taking the time and watching this all the way to the end. Have a good rest of your day, guys, and a great upcoming weekend.